All right. Oh. Let's see, today is January 16th, 2007.
Okay.
And I'm here interviewing my Uncle John Wojcik. Uncle John, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm John Stephen Wojcik. I was born June 6, 1917. I am now 89 years old.
Okay. And let's see, your parents, they came here from Poland, right?
Yeah.
And your dad came here to work at the cement plant?
Yes. They first came to Alton, Illinois, and my dad, he knew a woman that, when there were children in Poland, they used to watch cows together. And when she got married, she and her husband came to Alton, Illinois, and my father found out that she was there when he came to this country, so he went there to Alton. That's the only people he knew when he came. First came. He worked in Alton, Illinois for 3 years in a box factory and in a glass factory too. They had two factories there. And he worked there for about 3 years. He found out that it's hiring men over here at the cement plant, and he came here. My mother, Sophia, she was born there. She was born in Alton before they came, and they came here to Alaska, and he worked at the cement plant. He worked till he died from 1913 till 1928. That's when he died. Yeah.
Let's see. So Grandma Sophie was born in Alton, and all the
she's
other.
only,
You were born in Alaska. And,
well, we all, the rest of us born in Alaska.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're the oldest boy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sophie, she's older than I,
Yeah.
about 18 months.
Now, you were telling me a story about somebody here that had a radio, the first radio in the village.
Yeah, that was Simon Young. He lived right across from where my home is now, just a few steps over to his place. He had a home that had a long porch all the way across his home there. And when I was about 13, 14 years old, us boys, we used to go over there, and he'd on Saturday nights, and he'd have Nashville on, and he was a good man. He'd open the doors and he'd put the radio there where we could all hear good, and we all sit on the porch and listen. And what I really liked the most about the Nashville program was DeFord Bailey. I liked the way he played Pan American, the Train, then the Fox Chase. I really liked that, and that chicken cackle.
Yeah. And,
That was kind of.
so you listened to the show in the mid-30s then, right?
About around 1934 or something like that.
Okay.
But
And that was on, what day was that?
Saturday.
It was on Saturday night.
nights, yeah. And I liked where Jimmy, little Jimmy, when he said that prayer, at the end of the show there, he'd always say the prayer. Now I'll lay my soul to sleep. I pray to God my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray to God my soul to take. And that was, Jimmy always said that prayer.
Mm-hmm. That was Asher Sizemore and Little Jimmy, his son, Little Jimmy. They performed that.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other parts of the show, of the country show, do you remember? Like commercials or the announcer?
No,
Remember too much about that? Or?
I kind of remember some of the songs. Some of the groups, the Gully Jumpers,
Yeah.
Possum Hunters, Fruit Jar Drinkers. That's about the three I remember the
Uh-huh.
most. And Uncle Dave Macon, I remember him, and he played the banjo.
So they had some funny names for their bands. Huh?
Yeah,
Now it was on from, what, 8 o'clock?
about 8 till about 11 o'clock when they signed off.
So you were staying up pretty late to listen
Yeah,
to that, huh?
we enjoyed it. That was quite a enjoyment, entertainment for us back in them days. We didn't have no other kind of entertainment. There was no television, wasn't unheard of yet, and
Yeah.
and the Sam he had about the only radio, and we'd go over and listen. And he
Did it
was
come
good.
in, and did the station come in pretty good?
Yeah, it come in good and clear.
Hmm.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. It come in good and clear.
Now it's mostly the boys around your
Boys,
age
yeah.
that were up there?
Yeah, around my age, yeah.
So grandma didn't usually go up with you all?
No, she stayed at home. She probably, couldn't understand much.
See? And how did that show affect your life? I know one thing, sitting right there.
Oh,
I guess D. Ford kind of inspired you to take
Yeah.
up the harmonica,
yeah,
did he?
that kind of inspired me, and I wished I could play, something like him. Many times I wished, because I enjoyed his harmonica music, so
Mhm.
much there. And I often think, boy, that'd be something if I could
Yeah.
do that on the harmonica too,
Right. I
Yeah.
know your sister told me that you used to play the harmonica for them when she was
Yeah.
little, huh?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
They thought I was pretty good, but for them, it was all right, I guess.
Yeah. Well, let's see, you got the Honer Marine Band
Yeah,
harmonica there.
yeah.
Do you want to give us a tune or two, or try the train first, or
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Pretty good. Man.
Yeah.
Pretty good. gonna do?
It ain't gonna rain no more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was one that DeFord Bailey played.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Okay. Fire away.
It's a religious song.
Mm-hmm.
And the notes are stuck on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Still won't go.
Hmm.
You got that springtime in the Rockies, I couldn't get that. And it's getting too old.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to get you another one.
Yeah. Got a little time yet? Or you think,
No, not really.
uh,
I'm not doing that. Having had one for about 3 days, you know.
Yeah. Boom! Hey, sing. Boom! Hey, singing. Hey, sing.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. If I had had a better harmonica, I could do a little better on that.
Uh-huh. Sounded like a fox running right out the
Yeah.
door there.
Yeah.
Hounds right after. You remember any of the other boys that were down there listening?
Oh,
When
it
you
might
all
be
were
Balco boys and Nicolian boys and might have been my brother, one of my brothers, Joe, one of the older ones, and my Kitsock, I think, too, the boy too, who was there. And I don't really remember, that's been so long.
Been a little while, huh?
Yeah.
How long have you been living in this house? This is the house you
Yeah.
grew up in or moved into.
Now,
when
we
young?
moved here in 1934, and see, since then it's been about 60 some odd years, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when we moved here, we only had 2 rooms. And then later on, after we come out of service from the Army, well, we built on this kitchen part here.
This was the porch before. Huh?
Yes, this was just a porch, yeah. And it was pretty cold here back in them days. We had some real cold winters. And one morning we woke up, and while the doors were too safe, they rattled, you know. They didn't have no insulation in between them or anything. And it skipped the snow across the floor there one morning in the kitchen there when we woke up. So the snow blowed through the cracks in the door. Yeah. And we used to burn the driftwood from the river. I used to carry it on my shoulder, and I'd cut it with a buck saw and pile it up in the barn. And it burned pretty fast. We'd burn that driftwood. We'd all get around the stove, and in the wintertime that away, and burn that driftwood. About 9 o'clock, the stove, the wood burned out, and And by morning, boy, it's real cold. The water freezing in the water bucket. And the pump would freeze in the winter time outside there. And we'd have to go get water. We'd have to wrap rags around the pump, set the rags on fire till it kind of thawed out a little bit. Then we'd pump the water out,
So we're sitting down here, we're only a couple hundred yards from the Mississippi River. Right?
Yeah.
And then what creek runs behind this?
Yeah, it's Marble Creek
Marble Creek.
runs through the river there.
Yeah.
And we had that well, it was about 20 foot deep we had. And when the river would get low, that well would get low. In 1936 we had a drought. And we run out of water. The river went real low. The river got so low, that's before they put the dam in, that they could wade across. Yeah. Uncle Guy, him and some boys from Illinois, they waded across down below Saverton. Yeah, it would get real low, and it got low and that dropped when it got. And in the wintertime, a long time ago, the boys, they'd skate on the river. It'd freeze all the way across. That's before they put the dam in. And you could they skated all the way across the river. Skated all the way to Hannibal too, They played hockey on the river. And they had quite a time that way. Enjoying it back in them days. They skated quite a bit around. And some of them were real good on skates, they wouldn't have to shove. With each foot that way, they could twist their body, lean forward, sideways, and they could move along pretty fast on the ice that way, just working their body like that. This boy lived on right there, right by the river back in them days. They had a home right on the river's edge there. He was a good skater, and that's where he skated mostly. He was about the best skater on that figure skating like that.
Yeah.
And then boys, it's set a barrel, lay a barrel down, 50-gallon barrel, and they'd skate real fast and jump over it, And Billy Nemus, he was one of the real good on that. And it set a couple of logs, all about 10 foot maybe about 7 or 8 foot apart. And they skate real fast and jump over both of them, about 7 or 8 foot,
Yeah.
Yeah. The boys got pretty good that way. And they'd cut a figure 8, with that skate like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That ice.
Billy just lives down the street still, right?
Yeah, we
With his brother?
we right there, we skated right here on the river.
Right.
It was dangerous at that time when the water, when the sun got, later on in the winter, when the sun be warming up pretty good, and ice would get kind of springy. One time, that Baco boy, he was skating out there, and it was out of way. It was warm that day, and ice was springing, and he fell through, and he was going down to his neck, and he was hollering, and one of the boys, Steve McCucci, he had a big long pole. He kind of crawled up to him. He told him to grab a hold of that pole, and he pulled him out, Yeah, he was pretty close to almost drowned at that time.
Yeah.
And that river, when we used to swim quite a bit in the river, and they had dikes on the river, and we'd swim right around close to the end of the dike. We wouldn't go on clear on the end because it was real swift right around the end of the dike. And there's some couple men from Hannibal, and they were swimming just ahead of us. They got around in that swift water. One of them did, and that water was taking clear on, that channel was taking down the river. And he said, I can't make it. Make it in, he said. And there's one of the boys, Buster Tapman, they called him. Lester was his name. And one of the men on the bank said, go get him, Bust, be a hero. And Buster, he swam out there, and he got up close to him to that man, put your hand on my shoulder and keep it there, and I'll bring you in. He brought him in. He swam in. And then another time, this man, he told me that as a girl fell in the water, and he jumped in after her, and he walked on the bottom of the water, and they held her up, and brought her into the bank and saved her that way. He told me himself.
That river can be pretty dangerous at
Yeah,
times.
he was a good swimmer.
Of course, back then it
Him
wasn't.
and another man, another boy, they swam all the way across. They're
right?
good, strong swimmers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
They
even
swam
before they had the dam still?
Yeah, before he went down
Was it deep at times then?
there. The channel might have been deep, but most of the time it was pretty shallow.
Yeah.
Yes. And they'd have a barge that come through once in a while. They'd get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Just one barge, they're small. They had that wheel in the back pushing out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A paddle wheeler on
paddle wheel, yeah. They sometimes they'd measure that river. There'd be a motorboat, and there'd be another man sitting in he'd be a man measure. He'd be up in front, have a big long pole, He'd stick it down. He'd say 5, 10, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes Mark Twain, no bottom. Yeah, sometimes no bottom. So, yeah, they did. The ice freeze always in wintertime, always clear down to the bottom where they cut that ice out
Mm-hmm.
at the over in North River. They had that ice house there, cut that ice out of the river. They had saw had 2 handles. You cut like that, just like a crosscut saw, but they only had handles on one end there.
Mm-hmm.
You just take that saw and they cut them blocks out, 100-pound blocks. They drove a team, wagon right on ice back in them days because it's froze down deep. They'd load that wagon up there, take it up to the ice house.
All right, that's about it for this one.